Hello, everyone. How are you doing? Let's talk about Big Bear. I'll mention Rich Tech here, everything. It was a up and down week. It was a good week. I was happy with the week. But we've got a new week coming here, and this obviously is the Mama Jama one. This is the one where we're going to see a lot more earnings. Obviously, whenever you're watching this, Monday, tomorrow, today, whenever you're watching me yap my gums here, Palantir will be reporting earnings after market close on Monday here with HIMS, everything. There's a lot, big day. But two, throughout the week, there's a lot of big companies. It's a ton. It's a ton. From Rivian to Hood to just so many things. McDonald's, Uber, Shopify, Spotify. There's a lot of them. So let's talk about Big Bear here. And, one thing that I can always see, like having YouTube channels, what tells me is that people, the biggest thing with investors, I'll say this before I say the mean thing. The biggest problem with investors is patience. Patience is hard, and you can't buy patience. You just can't. It's something that you have to learn. It's something that you have to go through. It's something that, no matter where we are in our investing life, it's something that we all have to deal with. Patience, where you're just like, why is this not working? This should be working? Why is this not going up? When is this going to go up? And I see that from Big Bear to even, stocks like SoFi, other things that I don't even really talk about, but it's just kind of the thesis, really, the main bloodstream of the market. It's patience. Who has enough patience? So with that, there's 8 days left here until Big Bear has their quarterlies. Now, will Big Bear pass quarterlies? No one knows. We don't know. But if anything, they should be better than Q2 because Q2 was awful. It was awful. Now, I just a collection of recent deals here. From the partners with the military AI defense development, the Nashville airport, the Chicago airport. I think that was the last one. And then obviously one of the biggest ones that everyone loves to talk about, obviously too, is the Panama Canal one. So these are things that we have seen of late here since the summer until today that have been going on. Now, a lot of these, more than likely, they weren't really on Q2. So that's what's encouraging right now. These deals, essentially these 4 partnerships right here, they really shouldn't. The Panama Canal could have been, but it's kind of hard to say. They will all essentially be on this next Q2, more than likely. There will be tidbits of them on there. So, Big Bear here, with all these recent deals, and this isn't just what has happened here this year. Big Bear's had a slew of deals here this year. It's been a great year, but I think, too, when people can visibly see something, it helps, too. That's how I learn. I have to I have to see it to believe it, if you will. But with Big Bear, I definitely think that, my argument with Big Bear is that I think this year is just a building block. It's just a building block. It's a construction zone. I've used this analogy many times this year, from 2 months ago to a year ago. Big Bear is a construction site. It's not clean. It's dangerous. It's messy. It's unstable until the final product is done. And right now, it is in construction zone. Where it's at right now. That's just the reality of what's going on with it. So it's being built, and what we're seeing being built here is this ground floor of solid deals getting Big Bear into a better financial realm here, where they can start, if anything, just beating expectation on quarterlies. I don't, if you've been here with Big Bear, this isn't a situation of where we're looking at Big Bear like, if they could just come out with like $100 million quarterly. Yeah, that'd be great. But that's not where we're at. If Big Bear just gets into a place where it can meet expectation on quarterlies, that is going to be a huge pillar that they have built. That's a huge bridge to cross right there. And I definitely think that's possible by maybe this next quarterly or Q4, or especially getting in next year. If they can keep this momentum going, what they're doing here, there's no doubt it's going to be a great year for 2026. They are obviously going after these airline deals. They have been aggressively going after these airports. And two, we really don't know. Big Bear is not as vocal when it comes to, did they go after the deal? Did the deal come to them? Some companies, I mean, like Palantir, for God's sakes, I mean, Alex Karp is more than willing to tell any and everybody about what's going on there. We don't really have that with Big Bear, sadly. Kevin, we love you, Kevin, but, we wish he would, talk a lot more. If anybody knows Kevin, tell him he needs to talk a lot more about, Big Bear and what's going on with it and what they plan on doing. But this is it's kind of investing in the dark right now. You're investing in a company that is not meeting quarterlies. Sure, we expect that they will continue to get deals, do better, that if they can get somewhere into this financial range of producing these $40 million, $45 million quarterlies, just at minimum that, we're really going to talk about getting to $10 to $15 and holding that number. Until Big Bear really gets some kind of crazy deal or they start producing good quarterlies here, there's not a lot to hold down here for them, sustaining a number like that. Now, saying that, I do believe that there could be a little push here depending on where the market goes this week. Big Bear could catch some more waves here up into the $8-9 range, but we'll see here. The fact that it's keeping this high $6 range is very encouraging. That's pretty cool. High $6, low $7 range. That's pretty amazing right there compared to where we were buying this thing. At different moments. At different times in this year where we had these big pushes, these dramatic drops. It's pretty encouraging that there's been a lot of ins and outs with Big Bear this year to swing trade it, buy back in, and kind of repeat the process back and forth many times this year. So now that they have quarterlies coming up here, I don't want to lie to anybody. I really don't know. I will say this one is a lot more encouraging than Q2. Q2, I was blatantly saying they are not going to make this quarterly. And of course, there were some people pushing back on that. But, this one I go, it's kind of hard to tell. Is it $40 million quarterly worth? I don't know. Maybe it's more. Maybe it's less. Who knows? But still, nonetheless, these are real deals that Big Bear has gotten here. This is a real thing. So the fact that they have kept momentum this year, it's going to be great for what's coming next year. I don't look at Big Bear right now and go like, well, if they don't meet this quarterly, they're done. There's no way they're going to make it in 2026. I actually go against that a lot. I think the fact that Big Bear, regardless whether they meet these quarterlies or not, the fact that going into 2026 here, they're going to do good. They're going to keep these numbers, and obviously if they don't meet the quarterly here, there's going to be a drop off. There's going to be a sell off, but there will be a climb back up too, because, Q4 is very appetizing here because, what if they get a deal, 2 more deals before Q4 here? One thing that is certain, in 8 days, we're going to know where they are financially. I mean, imagine they go from, Q2 being absolutely awful to, just missing this next quarterly by a hair. That would be a dramatic switch of events that would happen here. So, yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody should be looking at Big Bear right now and going like, man, what is going on with this stock? This is crap. This has been a super year for Big Bear. They have achieved so many deals. And like I said, patience will pay off if you're in the right things. Big Bear is still trying to prove to investors like, hey, we're trying here. We're trying to get somewhere. It's just a matter of time and patience. That's really the best thing I can say to anyone. I'm saying that to myself here. I'm talking to myself more than anybody right now. This stock this whole year has been a very emotional stock to hold, from many highs to big lows. Many thank you. I've had many thank yous on YouTube, and I've had many, you son of a, why did you tell me? I've had many emotions with this stock throughout the year, personally, and just people talking about it. So, yeah, I mean, friends, this is kind of just a recap of where we are right now. It's November. Big Bear will be reporting earnings in 8 days. So it's just a situation of we're going to have to wait and see. And even if these earnings aren't fantastic, I'm still in the realm of I can't let go of Big Bear right now because they're still getting so many good, juicy deals. And if they continue with that, there's no doubt yeah, that this is going to start to work here. There's going to be a moment here next year. If they continue in this, what they're doing, this is going to work. It's going to work. What we wanted is happening. Big Bear's moving in the right direction. So, I think I'll say this and I'll shut up about Big Bear. I think kind of the best case scenario that someone can hope for right now with Big Bear is, if they don't meet this quarterly, is that Big Bear just misses this quarterly. And this is what is very juicy about this conversation. Let's say Big Bear just misses this next quarterly. Okay. Wall Street's upset. They come out with a bunch of bad articles, blah, blah, blah. Huge sell-off, scare investors off. It sinks down to $5.50, low $5, high $4 range. Okay. We've been there, done that with this. Okay. That could, but in that too, what I said in the beginning there, they just miss quarterly. So if they just miss quarterlies, that's not going to be good enough for many investors. And then many of them are going to go, I'm done. I don't have the patience for this. I'm out. What does that tell us? That tells us that they're that close. And that tells us that if Big Bear more than likely can get to Q4 with one or two more deals, or maybe some money that we haven't seen come up here, or not even public deals being announced, that Q4 could be very juicy in the sense of they pass it. So guess what would happen then? Then everybody would push back into Big Bear. Oh my God. But in this moment here, if this next quarterly does not meet, that's a moment for you to start buying up Big Bear at very low positions. When people start to sell, when the mass goes, I don't have the patience for this, they start to sell off. People did it in Q2 when it came out, and it paid off for them because the stock went from $8 to high $4 range. People bought in. They made a lot of money. I definitely think that's a very real possibility. What we could see here, that's like the best worst case scenario, if you will. Obviously, the best is that they blow past expectations here. But it's been a wild year for this company. We have literally watched this company dig its way out of this just terrible bear pit that it was in, where no one was wanting to say anything good about it. And they've proven a lot wrong. If they can get these quarterly straight, this money right, this is going to be a different machine in 2026. You're going to see a lot of big money start to swing over into Big Bear, 100%. If they start to take more of these airlines, imagine by like this time next year, Big Bear's into like 8 more airports. That's a lot of airports, and these are big airports. I mean, the Chicago one, they just O'Hare. They just got into O'Hare, Chicago. That's crazy. That's a big airport. That's a big airport. So, and the Nashville one, those are big airports. So, this could really get very interesting here in 2026. This is investing. This is what investing is. It is, picking up the breadcrumbs of what you see. It's trying to pay attention to the littlest pieces that the majority, the big investors are just not spending the time to look at. It's these breadcrumbs that we're picking up here at the bottom. We're going like, okay. This is where this could lead to. So if we keep following these breadcrumbs, this is a good place to be for investors in the future. And just to talk about Rich Tech, Rich Tech is still something I've seen people comment all week like, what's going on with Rich Tech? Why so much sell off? I think until Rich Tech gets some more attention here from the mass, this is what's going to happen. I think it's going to be a very volatile stock. It's going to have high moments, low moments, high moments, low moments. But I definitely think that there is still 100% a conversation out here for Rich Tech to have, a fourth big push back in the $6, $7, $8 range. And if it can get past that, I don't think that $9, $10 is crazy to say, especially, by, somewhere when we see another market run. Undoubtedly, there's going to be another market run. It's just kind of when is this next market push? And a lot of us, we go like, it's kind of a waiting game at this point. It could be maybe when China and Trump kind of come to terms with some kind of better tariff agreement. I don't know, maybe that's what it is, but I think right now with Rich Tech, it's not something that I am running away from by any means. This is something that I'm still very much, thinking that this could get stupid crazy at any month here. They have quarterlies in January, and those quarterlies should be pretty good considering the past deals that they have come up with here. So yeah, I'm watching it, friends. I think it's a very interesting play here. I think robotics are going to start to take off. I've said this time and time again, but if you haven't heard me say it, I'm very into the belief that robotics are going to have a strong moment here in 2026. I really do. I think everyone is giving warning signs of that. You're hearing Amazon talk about it more and more. Jeff Bezos, you're hearing Jensen from NVIDIA talk about it all the time. It's just being talked about a lot in the market right now. And it's just going to take one little thing to set off robotics being a big topic in the market. And I think a lot of that could be with Optimus, Tesla's robot, when it, comes to market, when it goes to private, owners, stuff like that. And just, think about when and if someone can buy Optimus, and then like these influencers, they buy one, and then it's all over TikTok, Instagram, all over the place, and then people are like, robotic, you mean you can buy these, you mean this is really, and then we start to see the money flow in from them. That's just the start of it. It may sound simple, stupid, but that is how easy things get out of control with prices. So that's what I think about that, friends. I want to wish all you best of luck, and I will talk to you soon. Good luck this week, everyone. Let's do it.